What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Ryan, why are you in this dark room? It looks weird. What's gonna happen? Don't worry. It's gonna be a super boring video. More for me than it is to you. But this is pretty much just gonna be me rambling for 10 minutes about kind of my thought process in life, where I'm at, my advice to you. If you want to take it, cool. If not, so be it. But this is just going to be a 10-minute rant about kind of where I'm at in my life. So if this is boring, just swipe all the way to the end, hit like, comment down below, swipe up out of YouTube, right? Or watch something else. But we're going to get right into it, all right? So to start off, my job. I went from, you guys already kind of know this, went from Eau Claire down to Florida for a job, didn't work out, new job, right? Still sales role, remote. Remote, right? It's good, it's bad. Either way, the job is going well right now. I actually feel like I'm doing pretty well in the role for the tasks that I'm given. I feel like I'm completing them well. And I feel like there's definitely a longevity in this career field as far as sales. And in this job specifically, I also feel that same longevity. I guess I have a passion for sales, passion for helping people, and this is a great job to do that. I don't want to get too much into exactly what I do and all that. I'll probably save that for another video. But I like the role that I'm in, and I see a long term goal, I guess, for that of moving up and training other people and having more of a management role. Being single right now, weird topic, right? But I feel like a lot of people are in the same boat. Actually, most of my friends are either single or have had like a long term girlfriend. I don't know too many people who are like married or in that space. And I think people just in general, well, factually, people are just getting into relationships earlier. And 20-year-old me was like, oh my God, I need to have a girlfriend. I need to like get married by 30 and all this stuff. And now I'm 27 and probably no way in hell I'm not going to get married by 30. And my thought process around that has kind of changed, right? I used to do the online dating stuff more heavily than I do now. Like, I don't know. I went on like a couple dates, as you saw in the last video, and I was just like, what am I doing, man? I'm literally just wasting my time. Like, I'm going here, and the people on dating apps are like sticking right here, and any thought of above that is like scary and nonsensical to them. Like, my dreams and goals, I guess, when I put that into the conversation is like, what? You want to drive a Porsche? You want to be a millionaire? That's not going to happen. I've never even thought remotely of anything like that. It's like I want to grow up and be a Disney star or something like that, right? Or NBA player. I feel like a lot of the conversations I'm having is like, I'm not getting laughed at, but it's almost just like let's be realistic here. And I was like, no, that is realistic. That's what I want to do. I have a goal of pursuing wealth, not just to live a great life, but obviously to help other people, as I said before, be a great motivator to other people, and really putting that money to good use and kind of making a difference in the world. Because I think Steve Jobs said it: the people that are crazy enough to change the world do, right? So if you're in that thought process where you can go change the world and do great things, that's awesome. And I just feel like I'm not meeting people that are like-minded, I guess, or it sounds rude, but I feel like I'm not meeting people at the same like level of emotional intelligence, or just not physical intelligence, but innate intelligence or whatever it is. So that's frustrating, because there's been relationships that I've had in the past where I feel like it's almost forced, where I'm like this is probably as good as it's gonna get, so might as well roll with it. I've really only dated one person that I was like, this person I could see a future with, and I'm 27, right? So not too much experience in that category. Can't really give advice on the dating scene. It sucks for me personally. I don't know what your guys' advice to me would be. Don't drop a comment down below because that's weird. But just hit me up on Snap or text if you have that. And I don't know. Actually, no, I don't even want your advice. That's a weird thing to ask for. I feel like I'm doing fine. Uh, where I'm going with this, right, is I used to care about that stuff a lot, and now I literally just don't even care. Like, I'll go on a date and be like, nope, didn't feel it, moving on. But before I'd be like, oh, let's give it another shot. Maybe it'll be good. It's like, no, dog, like, they're broke, no future. They have an attitude, like, it's just not going to work, right? So, awkward topic, but that's kind of my thought process here. And I wish I did this video 10 years ago, because my mindset now is completely different. um, than what it was now. You guys just get so much more intelligent. I'm sure you guys have had the same thing. Like 20-year-old me versus 27-year-old me. I'm a genius compared to where I was at 20. Moving on to my living situation. So I currently live with one of, because he's not always, my best friend, Joe, right? Known this guy since elementary school. Joe and I, for some reason, just connect super well on stupid ass shit. But I annoy the hell out of him all the time. But never ever has he ever been like, dude, get the fuck away from me. You're pissing me off. He'll just be quiet until I leave because we both work remote, right? So I'll just pop into his room and be like, oh, guess what? And he's just like, oh my fucking god, what? What could you possibly want right now? And I'll just kind of bullshit with him. And that's been a huge help, honestly, because working remote, for me, making cold calls all day is not easy. For those of you who haven't done cold calls and you're like, oh, all you have to do is cold call people, that's so easy. Like, physically, yes, it is easy to pick up the phone and dial, but as far as monetizing that skill set, it is very difficult, and I feel like very few people possess that. Um, but living with Joe is great. He keeps me on track, going to the gym and stuff like that. And I always seek his advice, but more than likely he'll just be like, I don't know, what do you think? And never really give me anything towards that. Because I like to think more philosophically and like think deeper into things, whereas he's more just like, just the way she blows. I don't know, dude. I don't care that much. And I feel like I'm much more worried about what other people think and what my family thinks of me, and like, am I doing everything right, and will future me be happy with what I'm doing currently, and all these thoughts are constantly rolling around in my head. And I am a person that lives with very high anxiety. It's not something that I talk about ever, actually, but as someone with that, and there's people out there that will be like, oh my god, I have too much anxiety, I can't do it, I just can't do anything. For me, I'm like, hey, guess what? Nobody cares, and I just do it anyway, right? I still have all these thoughts floating around in my head, but I use that stress as a motivator to do well in life, I guess, if that makes sense. So I am constantly anxious about, where I'll be in life and if I want to get ahead. And sometimes I'm like, dang, dude, I'm just fine chilling. And sometimes it's like, should I buy another rental property? And it's like, ooh, at the same time, I don't know, because that's just more stress to add to my plate. And it's, Matthew McConaughey has a great book, Green Lights, where he kind of talks about that, where he talks about like the redlining of a car, right? Like, you don't want to go all the way because you're gonna blow the engine, right? But you want to be at that sweet spot where you're almost all the way down, but you got a little bit of room to relax there. So that, I guess, that situation is frustrating too, because it's like, I'm 27 and I still live with roommates, but I'm saving money. And that moves me into stop being a slave to consumerism, right? Now, this is advice that is factual and relevant to almost every person in this country, right? Because there's so many people that are just like, oh my God, it's a 2 for 3 sale, but they're $1.50 each. And you're like, I need it. Another example is the Starbucks cup that people get. I remember my roommate bought one last year, and it was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And it's just insane to me that people will like do this. Oh my god, we're gonna make a new chicken sandwich, and then there's people that are like gouging out their eyes, like, what? I need this. Like scratching at their arms, inserting the needle, need. And it just blows my mind. It actually gets me to the point of anger, I would say, at the people that are just slaves to consumerism and just have no direction in their life. They're living unintentionally. It's just so frustrating. Same thing with like people that are like, give me some advice on whatever, and it's like, dude, every time I give you investing advice, you don't take it and you completely waste my time. And just honestly stop asking me, because I'm still going to help you. I'm never going to give up on you, even when you give up on yourself. However, it's really frustrating to ask for advice that I know you're not going to use, and it's completely pointless. Like, I have people that ask me real estate questions all the time, and I'm not an expert in real estate, but I'll thoroughly go through the process. They'll like, send me a house, should I buy this? And I'll be like, yes or no, whatever. But it's like, I don't even know why I'm giving you this advice, because you're not going to buy it even if I said do it, right? Nonsensical. Same thing with investing. Like, if I know that you're just a person that loves to blow money and can never follow any sort of discipline in your life, it's a complete waste of time for me to give you any sort of financial advice when you're not going to follow it. And that is pretty tough love right there, but that's just the fact of the matter. You know, there are winners and there are losers in life, and most of the time losers ask winners for help. They give it to them and then they stick in the category, right? Like very few and far between do losers become winners, and very few and far between do winners become losers. Sometimes, but not always. Usually you're kind of just born with the winner's mentality or the losers. And I'm not saying that someone who makes $50,000 a year is a loser. By no means ever is that the case, because a lot of times, statistically, actually, teachers are some of the top savers in this country, right? Like just because you're a lawyer or a doctor doesn't mean that you actually have more money, right? Because they might have an $8 million house and they're super in debt. But a teacher making $50,000 a year is actually going to keep most of that in savings and live well below their means. So some food for thought there. And advice on that is do invest, do think about your spending constantly. Like it shouldn't be something that gives you anxiety, I guess, like me, but you should constantly be looking at your checks like, maybe I shouldn't eat fast food 5 times a week, or maybe I shouldn't go on these elaborate trips that I don't need to do. Or when you go to the grocery store, you can probably take 5 or 6 things out before you go to the checkout. There's so many different little things that you can do to stop yourself. And I am speaking out of habitual tendencies to overspend. I completely get it. Because I do have a habit to overspend as well, and I really try to cut down on that. But at least I'm self-aware of it. So at the end of the day, like you can still do it. I'm going to do it, but be self-aware within that, right? Moving on to my friends in general, right? The people that religiously watch these videos, love them to death. Really means a lot to me. I do appreciate that. Biggest thing I can give for friends, right? Keep your circle small. And a lot of people give the opposite advice. I like to let my very close circle know exactly what I'm doing, what my next moves are, all these things, so that I speak it into truth, right? And they have the perspective of like, damn, this guy's always killing it, right? And that is very important to me to uphold that. So like my friend Jacob, right? Always hyping me up. Number one hype man I've ever met, actually. And truly that means a lot to me. I do really appreciate that, because it puts me into this mindset of like, okay, I have to do this. I said I was going to do it, and now I have to. Like I religiously say, like I will be a millionaire. Like I will be very successful in life. And I kind of have a very good track record of being above average. I guess that's pretty important to me. So when I'm speaking all these things into fruition, kind of it gives me the sense of like I'm doing well and blah 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 blah. And then sometimes I get sidetracked with that. This is where the anxiety comes in, where I'm like, wait, am I really doing good? Because it's all perspective, and perspective is kind of reality sometimes. Because when you're in the mindset of I'm doing way better than all these people, yeah, you probably are. But there will always be that other half that's like, well, you're not doing as good as them, right? And you're somewhere in between. So it's up to you to dictate your own reality, in which this is where I want to be, right? So as long as you have stepping stones and goals in place, then I see no reason why you should never achieve your goals. Now, if you're setting the bar extremely low, probably not the best, right? Same thing with extremely high. Like the SMART goals thing, I hate that, but at the same time, I love it because it is actually really good stuff. This is a long rant, right? We're almost done. Stay with me. If you got to this part of the video, you're awesome, and drop your favorite emoji in the chat or something. I don't know. Last thing, right, is what motivates me. And this is a interview question I get all the time. Usually I give them like a BS answer, but the real answer is other people looking at me for like advice in any role. And that's a weird sentence to throw out there, right? But what I mean by that is, you know, if me going to the gym, what motivates me is I want other people to be like, hey, I don't really know how to use the gym. Can I ask for help? Motivates the hell out of me, right? So I always would like to be in a position where I can help other people. So investing, right? Would love to get extremely financially literate to be able to help a ton of other people in that, right? And in turn, that's very helpful to me as well, right? I'd like to go through a lot of difficult times in order to help people through difficult times. I'd like to go and see the world so I can tell people about the world, right? And those things are pretty motivating to me as far as a. I don't even know where I'm going with this. Kind of lost track. Those things are just really important to me to confirm my identity as a winner, as a successful person, because that's extremely important to me. I forgot what the word is, but there's a word where you're like something phobia, where you're like scared to not be successful or whatever, and that's my constant every single day. I'm kind of always checking in with myself in the sauna, especially. I talk about that all the time, where I'm like, hey man, how you doing? I think you're really good at this. I think you should do that. Even when I'm making cold calls, I'll be like, hey man, that was pretty good. But I will literally talk to myself in this voice, like, hey man, you're doing pretty good, but really think you can do better on this. I'm like, yeah, you're right, man. And am I a psycho for that? Probably. But I also could be a genius for being able to be my own therapist and have those inner coaching thoughts and true introspection, right? Because I'm self aware. Are you? Who knows? Um, so that's one motivator, right? Another thing that motivates me is obviously money, right? I would love to drive a Porsche one day, live on the lake, and provide my family, my future family, and my like mom, dad, brother, sister, all that, with anything they could possibly need, and especially my close friends or people that have changed my life in ways. Like think about it all the time. Where like my McDonald's boss way back in the day, right when I was like 14, I started working there. She really paved the way for me to be successful. Taught me a ton of stuff as a 14 to like 17-year old that I didn't really think anything of. But even today, I learned a lot of those disciplinary skills in which I am extremely thankful for. So I would love to just show up on her doorstep one day and be like, hey, you have no idea who I am probably, but you changed my life and I really appreciate that. Same thing with the Marine Corps. Met a lot of great Marines that really helped me throughout my life and appreciate them all. Same thing with my close friends. Like I really appreciate where they are. And I lied. This is not the last thing. The last thing is, I guess my inner circle. Right. My inner circle is my family, which almost never will understand what I do in life. And 90% of the time, I tell them, hey, got something new going on. Criticism right off the bat. It's not going to work. You're stupid. Don't do that. Waste of time, right? So honestly, over the years, I just kind of stopped reaching out with that stuff. Every once in a while, I still do. And then I get the friendly reminder of, oh yeah, you guys don't care and hate everything that I do. So that's always frustrating. But with that, I shouldn't be seeking validation or seeking approval from people that I don't really care about their opinion anyway, right? But they are my family, so I guess I still do that. But my friends that are there for me are the best friends I could ever have, right? So like Joe, live with him every day. Really appreciate everything that he has done for me over the years, just by kind of sticking around. And if anything, I have stuck around way more for him than me, because I annoy the fuck out of him with stuff. So we could have easily fallen off over the years and just never really talked again. But for whatever reason, we still speak religiously. We literally live together. And over the years, like over 10 years, I've been thankful to interact with him, because in um, I don't know, he's just like a guy that looks out for people and really just focuses on himself. And I, outside looking in, always respect that, because I'm always the person of like, wait, you don't care what they think? Like, what the hell? Or like, you don't want to drive a Porsche? What? Like, nope, I'm just good living how I'm living. Like, that to me does not make any sense. Like, I always need more, 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 right? But he's a person that's very happy with what he has and grateful, to use that word, with where he has, and I think he has a great future ahead of him. So it's good to have that perspective, kind of take me back down to earth. Like, hey, dog, it's not that big of a deal. Like, you're fine. With worrying about random stuff in my life. But I am gonna end the video here. Appreciate you guys watching. If you watched the whole thing, that actually kind of blows my mind, because this was more of just like a video I want to put up there and kind of watch in 10 years to see where I'm at in my life right now. But if you did watch the whole video, I do very much appreciate that. And we'll see you guys in the next one.